All right, folks, let me call the meeting to order. I'd like to do so, and this is a regularly scheduled, called, and convened Greer City Council meeting, April the 28th, 2026. Having called the meeting to order, I'd like to ask Councilman Corian Booker, if he would, please, to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by an invocation. If you'd like to join us, please stand.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear Heavenly Father God, we thank you for this time tonight to come together as city council members to do the business of the city. Lord, we ask you just to continue to cover the city of Greer, continue to cover all our citizens, all the visitors, everyone that grace the hollows of this city, Father. Lord, we ask you just to continue to be amongst us all, help us to make decisions tonight that's fair and equitable for all our citizens that we have the privilege to serve, Father. And Lord, we thank you for everything you're doing in the city of Greer, in the state of South Carolina, and this wonderful United States of America. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
With that, then, council, let's move on to public forum. Ms. Duncan, anybody to appear in public forum this evening?
No, sir.
With that, then, council, let's move to the minutes. Our last meeting was held April the 14th, 2026. I'll entertain the motion to receive.
So moved.
Second. And a second. Any items of note that need to be brought to the attention of the clerk? Hearing none. Ms. Duncan?
Mr. Arrowood,
Yes.
Mr. Booker,
Yes.
Mr. Hopper,
Yes.
Mr. Lander,
Yes.
Mr. Bettis,
Yes.
Mr. Lamb,
Yes.
Mayor Danner.
Yes. Council, it is our privilege this evening to recognize two folks that are with us this evening. We have an anniversary that we will celebrate, and also an awareness month. So, going to celebrate a 90th anniversary this evening, and thank goodness that doesn't include either me or Ryan.
No, you're looking a little old.
I'm going to ask the folks from Greer Relief to come up here this evening, please.
Rick. Got a microphone somewhere down there. You did it.
Thank you, sir.
Yep.
Y'all slide in and smile now.
You know, and a proclamation is a celebration. You need to identify or to help us recognize agencies, different celebrations that we have here throughout the city. I cannot think of one that is more appropriate than this one. This organization, through its 90 years, has been a constant in this community, and has, as you will hear through this proclamation, been a real source of stability and empowerment to our community. And there are few communities that have organizations like this with this type of history and a foreseeable future for at least another 90 years. And, while I suspect that they all job at helping our community. And so it is with great pride tonight I recognize Greer Relief and Resource Agencies on their 90th anniversary. It says, whereas Greer Relief and Resources Agency was chartered in 1936 to help neighbors in crisis during the Great Depression. And whereas through its stability, empowerment, and family resource center programs, Greer Relief and Resources Agency serves neighbors in need, along dedicated community partners and volunteers with poverty prevention tools, access to community resources and pathways to long-term stability, thus providing a hand up, not a hand out. And whereas Greer Relief and Resource Agencies exist to transform neighbors in need to neighbor, to thrive by providing services to eliminate poverty and help neighbors overcome barriers for success, because every neighbor. I therefore, myself and the City Council, congratulate Greer Relief Resource Agencies on the occasion of their 90th anniversary, and we wish to thank its leaderships and volunteers for their dedicated service to those in need in our community, infusing human spirit with hope for a better tomorrow. Join me in a round of applause for the 90th anniversary of Greer Relief and Resource Agencies.
I'm Carolyn Robertson, Executive Director of Greer Relief. I want to thank the Mayor, Council, and the City of Greer for this recognition. We are deeply honored to celebrate 90 years of service in a community that has always believed every neighbor does matter. Greer Relief's story is really Greer's story. Generations of people, businesses, churches, volunteers, donors, and leaders all coming together to support neighbors in need and help families move towards stability and success. We're grateful to everyone who has been part of this mission, and we look forward to continuing to serve this community for many, many, many years to come. Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Thank you. I'm going to ask Nisha McLean to come up, if she would, please. This is a proclamation to announce that this is Lupus Awareness Month. It says, whereas lupus is a chronic autoimmune disease that affects more than 1.5 million Americans and an estimated 55,000 South Carolinians, causing the immune system to attack healthy tissue and organs, results in inflammation, pain, and damage to the skin, joints, kidneys, heart, lung, and brain. Whereas lupus is often difficult to diagnose because its symptoms can mimic those many other illnesses, and no two cases are exactly alike, resulting in significant delays in diagnosis and treatment. Whereas lupus primarily affects women, particularly women of color, I did not know that, often strikes during their most productive years, impacting careers, family life, mental health, and overall quality of life. And whereas increased public awareness, early detection, improved health care access, and ongoing research are critical to improving the lives of those living with lupus and ultimately. Whereas Nisha McLean, the founder of the fight of the butterfly movement, has worked to raise awareness, advocate for, and empower lupus warriors, and promote understanding of chronic illness throughout South Carolina and beyond. Therefore, the City of Greer acknowledges the courage, strength, and preservation of lupus warriors, caregivers, and advocates who continue to fight for visibility, understanding. Myself and this council did proclaim the month of May 2026 as Lupus Awareness Month in the City of Greer, South Carolina, and on behalf of the City Council, encourage all citizens to learn more about lupus, support those impacted, and join the fight of the butterfly movement in efforts find a cure. Please join me in a round of applause to celebrate Lupus Awareness Month.
Just on behalf of every lupus warrior who suffers in silence behind a disease that is somewhat hard to see, we thank you.
With special recognitions done at this point in time, council departmental reports are contained in your packet. You have those there for information from department heads and/or the administrator. We have Chris Klein joining us this evening for our financial activity report. The floor is yours, sir.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and Council. Financial performance summary for March 2026. Starting in the general fund, we had a cash balance of $29,410,000. Year-to-date revenues of $46,013,000. Year-to-date expenditures of $41,249,000. We are 2% under budget. There is a favorable revenue benchmark variance of $4,365,000. An unfavorable expenditure benchmark variance of $1,706,000. And overall, a favorable benchmark variance of $2,658,000. Moving to hospitality fund, we had a cash balance of $2,406,000. Year-to-date revenues of $2,987,000. Year-to-date expenditures of $2,848,000. Finally, stormwater fund, we had a cash balance of $5,080,000. Year-to-date revenues of $1,495,000. And year-to-date expenditures of $974,000. With that, be happy to stand for any questions.
Council, floor is open.
In the stormwater and the hospitality number, does auditors, do they say you should keep so much in reserve, you should be spending out so much, you know, the way we do our general fund?
General fund.
Is that,
Yeah, I think the more of the same applies. Also going to be based off need, especially with stormwater, depending on projects. But all things considered, that same percentage is typically across the board.
because I know that we have a lot of demand for stormwater services, and we generally there's generally a high balance in there.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Do we have projects that are going to take that $5 million?
We do have several projects still budgeted that we'll be seeing come to fruition here in the next several months, and which may potentially also lead into next year's as well, budget.
Others? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Council, let's move to the administrator's report. Mr. Merriman, excuse me.
I'm going to be a broken record again. Council, please take a look at the fire department report, especially on the delayed response from EMS and where we've had to provide the ALS support for transport. The delays that's bad enough, but where we're providing the ALS service, we aren't the ambulance service, we're not the EMS service, but we're supplementing both counties that way.
So noted. Thank you, sir. With that, then, let's move to the administrator's report.
Mr. Mayor, Council, thank you. Got a number of items to go through this evening, so if you'll bear with me, and at any point, if you have any questions, just shout. Two real quick date reminders. Council will have a housing work session where we discuss the housing study that was done. This will be on May 12th. So between 5:30 and 6:30, so before the next council meeting, and that will begin at 5:30. I also want to remind you of the first of 3 budget work sessions beginning May 7th, so next Thursday. They will be at noon in these chambers. Reminder about the farmers market, Sunday the 3rd and May 10th, both from 11 a.m. to 2 in the city park. 2 announcements for the Center for the Arts. Want to remind you to visit the Bing Davis exhibit at the Center for the Arts May 3rd through the 6th. Mr. Davis, who was born in Greer, but moved shortly after he was born, is returning to showcase his artwork. In his almost 89 years, Mr. Davis has traveled and exhibited his artwork all over the world and received many awards and honors, founded arts organizations, and touched the lives of many people through his art. Mr. Airwood and a number of council members had some questions as we went through the A-tax numbers last week, specifically about Dia de los Muertos. I do want to shout out to Robin Bayuk and her team and all of our team in Parks Recreation. The Dia de los Muertos Festival won 2 regional awards at the Southeast Festival and Events Association. The first was for a unique seasonal event, and the second for best event under $20,000. So just to kind of give you an idea of not only the impact it's had on our community, but the impact it's had in its uniqueness in the Southeast Regional Events Association. Building Safety Month is recognized each May and is a valuable reminder to shine a light on the standards and the professionals behind that everyday protection. So I want to shout out to our folks in planning and development. They have themed this year Built to Last, and it reflects where Greer is right now. Our community is one of the fastest growing in the upstate. So with every permit issued, every inspection completed, and every set of plans reviewed, it's a direct investment in Greer's long-term safety and resilience. Also in the PD, the Police Department's Detention Center will be celebrating National Correctional Officers and Employees Week, along with the entire nation, May 4th through the 10th. This week has been formally recognized by Congress through a proclamation honoring correctional officers and employees nationwide for the critical role that they play in public safety. I'd like to now transition to a quick update on a number of our capital projects that we're currently underway. In the design phase, the Greentown Playground replacement is in design. The awarded Blue Water Civil Design PO was sent on the 20th, so about a week ago, with an engineering kickoff meeting scheduled for this week. Under plan review, the Wards Creek Trail is, our consulting engineers are working to address some comments, and they will resubmit by the 1st of May. The 95% drawings will also be submitted to the South Carolina Department of Transportation Friday, May 1st. GMC has provided a preliminary concept for Wards Creek Park based on feedback from kickoff meeting, and we're working to schedule review meetings moving forward. In the construction phase of where we are with a number of our projects, if you've not noticed work being done on the detention center, it's good because that means you're looking at it from the outside, not the inside. But the project started Monday, the 19th of April. We're at that 2-week phase to do some final work with weather pending, and we've had some weather today, obviously, but we expect a 2-week project completion for that. The Memorial Drive parking lot improvements, the grading permit was issued on the 6th. We have a project kickoff meeting scheduled for Wednesday, the 29th. We anticipate that project starting on the 4th of May. Century Park drainage improvements, the landscaping contractor is on site this week preparing for the irrigation install. Handrail installation begins tomorrow and Thursday. Irrigation begins Thursday, weather pending, and sod and landscaping to follow irrigation installation. On to the Sports and Event Center. If you've not noticed, structural steel is ongoing. We have scheduled for this week fireproofing in areas D and E, plumbing in area C. Level D and E, we have some more plumbing rough-in and HVAC pipe and duct rough-in in area C, along with various electrical rough-ins throughout the facility. The topping out ceremony is scheduled for the 6th so next Wednesday at 10 a.m. The Public Safety Training Facility, we are right on the edge of getting our CO issued, hopefully within the next 10 days. Plumbing trim out wrapped up on the 24th. We have painters on site wrapping up by the end of this week. Some IT work is being installed, and then work on the monument sign and the dumpster enclosure started about a week ago, and then furniture installation will be scheduled for the week of May 11th through the 14th. The South Tiger River Trail, dry weather has allowed significant progress. We are tracking for completion at the end of June. Final concrete pour was completed on the 20th, forms were removed on the 24th, and boardwalk fabrication pending finalized design from our structural engineer. We anticipate this week being done. And finally, the Stevens Field wall, the scoreboard installation is ongoing, and painting the remaining existing wall to match the new will occur in the coming weeks. That is the update for this council meeting on our capital projects. I would be glad to answer any questions right now, or if you have any that you'd like to follow up with me or Mr. Sell or our construction team, we'll be glad to answer them as you have them. Mr. Mayor, that concludes my report.
I got a question. Where's the Memorial Drive parking lot?
I was wondering the same thing, but I figured I was supposed to know.
The Memorial Drive, it was the old EMT station.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
217 Memorial Drive.
It has a parking lot?
Well,
It's a very small parking lot, but it's having drainage issues. And really, that's what we're doing, is addressing stormwater issues out there. And we're also making some small improvements to the lot.
Okay, thank you.
Mayorman?
yes, sir.
I mentioned this to the mayor the other day. I discovered there's a small plaque on City Stadium that identifies the date when everything got rolling on it. It's 1933. I always thought it was, I believe what it was, and I may be wrong, but it was funded, I guess through the federal government. The Greer City Council is the one who authorized to borrow that money to build that site. And since we're in budget time, since we are celebrating 150 years, that facility will be approaching 100 sooner than later. And maybe we should start thinking about doing some pretty significant upfits to it to recognize that 100 years.
Yes, sir.
Retractable roof? kind of?
I like that idea.
We did discuss that, and I have a note to follow up with the museum on that.
Oh, that's right.
If I'm not mistaken, that was a WPA project.
It was?
That's what I was thinking.
So, yeah, there is definitely some history there. We also, I think, between me and you, identified at least 3 other springs that probably need to be memorialized in some regard.
yes.
So I will get that in front of our staff in the museum as
Great.
soon as we can. Yeah. Others? If you did not have a chance to get by here last weekend, the International Festival was held on Saturday to wide acclaim. We had a very good crowd, lots of people that were here. One of the things that I really enjoy about that particular festival is not only the diversity that this community embraces, but the number of children that are involved in that festival as well too. Very, very child friendly, and lots of different kinds of games and booths, and getting your world map and getting all the countries on there. I think we had, if I'm not mistaken, 22 countries in the parade of countries, and more than that represented here, either by booth or other presence. So, and it also involves a number of volunteers from our community too. Lots of school-aged kids that get to volunteer and do things.
Our parking garage up the street right there was full all day. We had to monitor it to let people in and out. So great event. Got a little rain at the end of the day, but it went well. I would urge you to make plans to join us next year for the International Festival. With that then, council, let's move to items of old business. We have two before us this evening. The first of which is the second and final reading of ordinance number 7-2026. This is an ordinance to provide for the annexation of a certain property owned by Susan and Stephen Davis located at 209 Windsor Road by 100% petition and to establish a zoning classification of suburban neighborhood for said property. Ms. Cotty joins us this evening. Any new or additional information in regards to those?
Thank you, Mayor. Planning Commission held a public hearing on April 13th and recommended approval.
Council will entertain a motion for the purpose of discussion.
So moved.
Second. Floor is open for discussion. Questions? Comments? Hearing none, Ms. Duncan?
Mr. Arrowood,
Yes.
Mr. Booker,
Yes.
Mr. Hopper,
Yes.
Mr. Lander,
Yes.
Mr. Bettis,
Yes.
Mr. Lamb,
Yes.
Mayor Danner.
Yes. Council, the second item of old business this evening before us is the ordinance numbered 8-2026. This is an ordinance to provide for the annexation of a certain property owned by Benjamin Hughes Jr. located at 1471 West Wade Hampton Boulevard by 100% petition and to establish a zoning classification of commercial corridor for said property. Ms. Cotty.
Planning Commission also held a public hearing for this item on Monday, April 13th, and recommended approval.
With approval, I'll entertain a motion to receive.
So moved.
Second.
And a second. Floor is open for discussion. Questions? Comments? Hearing none, Ms. Duncan?
Mr. Arrowood,
Yes.
Mr. Booker,
Yes.
Mr. Hopper,
Yes.
Mr. Lander,
Yes.
Mr. Bettis,
Yes.
Mr. Lamb,
Yes.
Mayor Danner.
Yes. Thank you. In matters of new business, our first is an award recommendation. This is Project 2026-16, Greer City Hall interior renovation. City of Greer Capital Projects Department solicited sealed bids from qualified offers for the Greer City Hall interior renovation. Project cost was budgeted in the general fund. Bid opening was held April 2nd, 2026. 3 bids were received. Bid summaries attached. For your reference, staff recommends awarding approval for the Greer City Hall interior renovation to P&F's Construction LLC in the amount of $127,999. Ms. Carr Kemo joins us for this discussion. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. The project had very well turned out during the pre-bid meeting. The team had as you mentioned, 3 bids received, and those are reviewed. After evaluation, we are recommending award to P&F Construction per the reference sheet. And with that, I'll open it up for any questions.
For this purpose of discussion and questions, I'll entertain a motion to receive.
So moved.
Second.
And a second. Floor is open.
We wound up with 1 bid that was only eligible.
That's correct.
Well, first of all, how many folks showed up or showed interest in the project?
We had 16 companies show up at the pre-bid meeting.
And then we only received 3 bids.
That's correct, sir.
And then we got 3 bids, and 2 of them you deemed ineligible, and the 3rd bid's significantly lower. Do you have any explanation as to?
Yes, the very lowest company did not conform with the required time frame for the completion of the project that was specified in the solicitation, so that deemed them ineligible. The second lowest company, based on past performance on a very recent project, that's why the team deemed them ineligible as well for this work.
What is the time frame that we assign for that project?
We have to complete this project before the end of the fiscal year, since it's in general funds. So they had to meet a June 30th deadline, final completion, and final inspection already passed as well.
What are we doing?
We're doing renovations to the third floor, converting a storage room into an office space. We're also adding a small conference room.
There was the correspondence going back with the other bidders about the time frame, and they said they couldn't meet it, or how does that work?
The solicitation had very specific completion date. As I mentioned, because of the funding, we have to meet the work completion and invoicing submission to our finance department. With the bids, they also had to submit a project completion schedule for the team to review, and they had a very lengthy construction schedule, which was not going to work with what was stipulated in the solicitation.
Okay.
You mentioned because of the funding, is there, but I thought this was coming out of the general fund, correct?
Correct.
And so we don't have any leeway of saying, because that's a pretty tight time, especially for workloads of contractors now, to be done by June 30th.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't have any leeway of saying, okay, you said you had 16 originally?
Yes, sir.
And I think you just answered this. How did any of them respond back as to why they were not submitting?
They did not. If the council needed, I can certainly reach out to some of the companies, but they did not. They have an option to specify in our platform a reason for not submitting, but we did verify, and none marked any specific reason.
Could have been the time.
Yeah.
Like you say, Jay. Yeah.
So P&F Construction agreed to the deadline. What kind of ramifications are there if they don't meet that deadline?
I'll let the project team answer that. John Gogenauer.
For the matter of the record, I'd appreciate it.
Yes. Thank you, Mary. Sorry, I apologize. Yes, on this particular project, if it goes over, we have the retainage we could withhold. There is liquidated damages. They don't amount to a whole lot, but they are an incentive to meet the deadline.
Okay. And I guess just because I'm new to this, I mean, the bid amount is quite different. What would be the effect on our side if we didn't complete it by June?
Well, if we don't complete by, and that I'd have to turn that over to procurement as far as the ramifications to that. Let me backtrack. This is kind of a new procedure with us, working with procurement. We had a little more leeway in the past. Now we're held to that 30th deadline on the budget. So as we're progressing and more adherent to the procurement process.
John helps behind you.
That's what.
Try to clarify for you. So after June 30, anything that were to hit his budget, it would make him look over for the following year.
That's the only reason we're doing it, just because of.
Because we don't do carryovers, it would be absorbed back into a fund balance, and we would not have budgeted in the fiscal '27 year for that project.
I mean, is there any leeway that because
When you start doing.
very different.
Yeah, when you start doing liquidated damages, and this is a small project. And if somebody wants it, you're gonna be paying a premium for something like this.
Yes, sir.
So I'm not sure that that's the wisest, just because of an accounting process, because we do have projects that are budgeted in a budget year that do carry over, and we continue, that's maybe a discussion you need to have in-house to figure out what kind of premium we're paying just to get it done before June 30th.
I believe some of the other bidders during the pre-bid, there was concern then too. And that, I think, is why they didn't respond, because they were asking if they could do after hours, which then would obligate us to supply somebody to monitor them through and then we said no after hours, no weekend work, because we don't have the overtime budgeted for that. So that may have been part of the partial, reasoning for them not to return a bid.
Probably we need to look at that. Okay.
Let's just get everybody up.
Mr. Airwood, Mr. Lander, we hear what you're saying. We have acknowledged that our capital projects program needs to have more flexibility in it. As we move forward, we are going to establish a capital projects budget, which will allow us to go over budget years. So we'll budget for a project, put money into the fund. If the project is going to go over, spread between 2 fiscal years, it will be addressed. In this particular case, this project was budgeted in this fiscal year. Those funds, according to our current accounting principles with the Fund 11, expire June 30th. We wanted to get the project done because this project is under budget for what was budgeted. The money's in the current budget. We would just have to re-budget those dollars in the next budget if we were to delay or to carry over the budget to the next year. We're trying to get it accomplished. We put the solicitation out. We did have responses to the solicitation. The one that we're recommending has committed to do the project within the time frame that we established. So we feel comfortable in selecting and moving forward, and that's our recommendation. It's entirely up to council if you want to, change that, but, or ask us to go through a different process. But I just wanted to make sure that it was full disclosure about where things stood. But as we move forward, we will be looking at more of a capital funds project budget rather than a fiscal year Fund 11 money budgeted for the year expires on June 30th, because we are running into this, that we get to the end of the year, we have a number of projects we're still trying to accomplish, and we're trying to get them under so that we don't have to inflate the next year's budget because we weren't able to accomplish those projects. But we hear the concerns and we are addressing them as we move forward. This particular project, we've got positions that are being requested, and we're moving folks around, we're running out of space. We're trying to get the office spaces built as quickly as possible so that we can accommodate folks as we grow. But that's where everything stands with it right now.
Is that change in process, is that something that we would look to implement in the new budget year as part of
I believe that we're going to be established to have our capital funds project budget established for this upcoming budget year, yes, sir. And that'll be something we'll be looking at during your workshops.
I know there's more logistics than just getting the work done, but I think it is a timely discussion. Mr. Earwood points out it is a small project, but, this type of thing added up over and over, that is a significant difference in expenditure, if that's the only difference.
Well, part of the problem too is the rock and hard place we come. When we do rebid these, we run into in the past where the time's elapsing between the time we get it out the first time and the next time it goes out to bid. The costs have increased and we end up paying more than we thought we would save by.
Well, and the increased amount may be due to the time frame. They may have said, for 2 months worth of work, we're going to have to do this.
Right.
We're going to put 10 people
of that.
instead of
Exactly,
4
right,
or
exactly.
whatever it is.
You're absolutely correct. There are different, as people are probably aware, there are a variety of reasons why bids come in the way that they do. There are times bids come in that someone may say, well, if I'm going to do the job, I'm going to put this bid on the table and because I'll do it for that. And because I'll make the money and move forward. Some will say, I can't get it done within that time frame, so I'm not going to bid at all. Some will say, I can commit the resources and I need the project for a variety of reasons for their business. So they'll be more aggressive in their bidding. It's sometimes we try to look at it, we try to compare all the factors that are equal in each one. But in the long run, sometimes it's a mystery as to why those bids come in a particular way. But there could be time factors, inconvenience factors, different factors that come into play. We've seen it time and time again. Team we've got together now is doing a really good job in breaking things down as good as possible so that we can get the most effective and competitive bid that we can recommend to council for moving forward on a project.
Council, I believe you've been heard. I think that's been demonstrated this evening. The award recommendation in the project 2026-16 is before us this evening for the purpose of further discussion. I'll entertain a motion to receive. So moved.
You have a motion.
We got a motion in a second?
Oh, we did already.
Okay. With that then, any additional questions or comments?
What was the budget amount originally for this project?
$191,000.
Do have, sorry, one more question.
Just one now.
Just one. Moving, good gosh, 60-ish percent, a little bit more, percent of let's say, the lowest bid to the next fiscal year would still save us money in the long run. Just going to point out that fact.
Andy, are we building one office or is it multiple offices and a conference room?
Currently, right now, HR is using what was an office at one time. They've converted that into a makeshift conference room. So we'll be moving that conference room space over and creating a new space for that. So that'll open up, that'll give us one office. Currently, where they have their record storage, we'll be moving their record storage out and putting it where the current mailroom is. That'll open up, that'll provide two offices. So in all, you're going to have two offices, a new conference room, and then the mailroom will have to be upgraded as well to outfit the new HR record storage.
The conference room space is going to go in that area in the lobby. That's where that, next to the mayor's office, as you enter into where it splits down the hallways.
Do you have any heartburn if we kick this into the next budget year, or does it need to be done now?
That is council's prerogative. This is council's money.
Well, how bad do we need the space?
Well, I know how, I really know how much Mr. Bettis in particular likes adding personnel. And so we have a whole lot of personnel that we're requesting in this next budget. In all seriousness, we have done with,
this project.
we have done without this for a number of years, and you've seen we've kind of made do. Again, I think Mike's explanation is apt and appropriate. This is, it was budgeted, the timing is what the timing is, and if council sees fit to move this, then we will make do.
What is the time frame, if you remember, the time frame of completion for the lowest bidder? Is it way outside of the scope?
It was, I want to say over a month.
Over a month over? Okay.
And we budgeted, how much was it?
191,000.
See, we're saving money that we can cut a mill next year then.
That's, yeah. So,
Just telling you.
Council, I'm ready to call the question. Move the previous question, yeah. Ms. Duncan?
Mr. Airwood,
Yes.
Mr. Booker,
Yes.
Mr. Hopper,
No.
Mr. Lander?
No.
Mr. Bettis?
Yes.
Mr. Lamb?
Yes.
Mayor Danner?
Yes.
Thank you.
Next item before us is the first reading of ordinance number 12-2026. This is an ordinance to change the zoning classification of a certain property owned by McBuilt Construction LLC located at 202 Ford Street from manufacturing and logistics to traditional neighborhood. Ms. Cotty.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. So again, this is a rezoning request. It is one parcel, approximately half an acre. This is the aerial map. Again, it is located on Ford Street. This is the current zoning map. You'll see that this area and the surrounding area are zoned manufacturing and logistics. The tan color that you see is all suburban neighborhood. The brown to the north is DRD, Design Review District, and then that red color is commercial general. This is the future land use map. This entire area is designated as traditional neighborhood. This is a current street view of the site. The applicant is planning to demo the structure that's currently on the site. It is in poor condition. And then subdivide and build single-family detached homes. So again, the request is to rezone to traditional neighborhood. Surrounding zoning is manufacturing and logistics. There's a mix of commercial and residential surrounding this. It is consistent with the comprehensive plan. The lot size is consistent with similar around the neighborhood. Staff recommendation was approval. Planning Commission had a public hearing on April 13th and also recommended approval with a 6-0 vote, and I am happy to answer any questions.
By show of hand, is the owner of the property or representative of the owner of the property with us this evening?
Yes, sir.
Are you available for questions?
Yes.
Okay. We'll ask you if there are any, okay? All right, thank you. For the purposes of discussion, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second. Floor is open. Questions?
The intent is to subdivide the lot and to build single-family detached. Is there a current plan on how many houses would be built on that road?
I can defer to the applicant for that. The maximum per density would be 5, but due to lot frontage and lot size, I believe the max would be 4. But if you're okay hearing.
Now your time. Thank you, sir.
Yes. she's
Would you
correct.
identify yourself for a matter of the
Pablo
record?
Sarabia. I own the property. And yeah, I would like to subdivide it into 4 lots and build houses consistent with the neighborhood. They're not going to be huge. It's just going to be about 1,800 square feet.
Others? Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Comments?
Just as an interesting note, if you read the deed, this was originally owned by Monaghan Mills. I think there might have been a shirt factory back there at one point.
Could have been. Others? Ms. Duncan?
Mr. Airwood?
Yes.
Mr. Booker?
Yes.
Mr. Hopper?
Yes.
Mr. Lander?
Yes.
Mr. Bettis?
Yes.
Mr. Lamb?
Yes.
Mayor Danner?
Yes. Thank you. Council, the last item before us this evening is the first reading of ordinance number 13-2026, a 14th supplement ordinance providing for the issuance and sale of City of Greer, South Carolina combined utility system revenue bonds in one or more series in the aggregate principal amount of not exceeding $33 million. authorizing the mayor or city administrator and the chairman or general manager of the Greer Commission of Public Works to determine certain matters with respect to the bonds, prescribing the form and details of the bonds and other matters relating thereto. Mark Regier, general manager of the Greer Commission of Public Works, joins us this evening. The floor is yours, sir.
Good evening. As the mayor said, we are looking to issue some new debt, about 22 million in projects with a not to exceed of 33 million. And primarily these projects are related to the water and wastewater systems. And I think they're listed out in the ordinance that y'all have. But there are some updates to lift stations, some expansion activities at the wastewater plant, some rehab work in the water plant, and some additional work in the water and wastewater piping in the streets. That's what I've got.
For the purpose of discussion, then, I'll entertain a motion to receive.
So moved.
And a second.
Second.
Floor is open for discussion or questions.
Is these improvements, is it just to maintain current capacities, or are you building in more capacity?
We're adding capacity in certain components, yeah, certain pieces.
In what components are you adding capacity?
We've got new pumps going in some pump stations with larger capacities.
And that would be for sewer?
Sewer, correct, yeah. On the plant side, we've got a handful of different activities that are increasing capacity at the headworks, basically at the front end of the plant.
And did you mention anything about freshwater improvement, or?
Yeah, so we're doing some treatment, some rehab, and some updates at the water plant as well as water lines.
And is that just updates, or does that actually increase capacity?
A combination of the both. Anytime we're in replacing piping, the majority of the time we're increasing size. So, yeah.
The city and CPW historically has had a partnership as such, where we work together for the betterment of our city. And what is CPW's stance on growth?
Well, I think the stance on growth has historically been, since the early 2000s, is that, we want the growth to pay for the growth. We went with impact fees. I think we were the second city in the state to bring on impact fees. In the 18-19 timeframe, we started adding cost in on the electric service. Post-COVID, we made those electric charges 100% borne by the growth. And that is now mirrored in just about every municipal electric and co-op in the state.
I don't get that. That's probably not the question I should ask. What is CPW's stance on promoting growth or restricting growth?
Well, I don't think we restrict growth.
Okay, so you promote growth?
Yeah, I think anytime we have an opportunity to help the city grow or help the systems grow, we try to help the customer or whoever the end user is. We get requests, I don't know, sometimes a couple times a week for new activities, new businesses, things like that. So, we're not, if you're asking if we're shutting down growth or trying to squelch growth, that's not at all the case. We are, however, trying to make sure that we're not asking the current ratepayers to pay for that growth.
Sure, and as they shouldn't.
Yeah,
right.
So that's, now, does that potentially turn some folks down? I don't know. We on the electric side, I can say that, in certain cases, maybe we don't get selected as the electric provider. And, that's a disappointment, because to the end user, we will ultimately be cheaper. But, there's an upfront cost, and that those cheaper rates come from the fact that we're not adding those upfront costs on the current ratepayers. So.
I understand. Now, is CPW hard and fast on your, the development cost, as far as, let's say there was an industry that came in that needed whatever kind of utility service, but it would take some kind of improvement on your side. Does CPW look at just the hard and fast rules that you have, or do you guys look at a much bigger picture, that the jobs it would be creating, the ancillary spin-off businesses, that kind of thing?
Yeah, I think we stay pretty hard and fast on those rules, but that doesn't mean that we don't try to, work with developments. Are there opportunities and ways that we can help them try to find funding for some of the stuff? I think what we see, and we see it with some of the largest manufacturers in and around the city, is that they're wanting to come and try to get onto our system, not because they have to pay upfront costs, it's because they want the lower long-term cost.
Mm-hmm.
So, you have some developers that'll build a warehouse or something. They don't care who the end user is. They're going to flip the building. Somebody else is going to pay the bills. So those folks will come in and say, well, we don't want to pay anything up front.
Sure.
But anybody that's going to be continuing apartment complexes, things like that, they absolutely want to stick with the services because it's all long-term, it'll be cheaper.
And you said that some of this money is going to be used for piping.
Yeah.
You talking about replacement of new water lines and things
Water
like
lines, wastewater lines, yeah, you got it.
that? Okay.
Yep.
And what's CPW's stance on repairing the roadways after you have to dig a trench?
Well, we've got an agreement with the city for y'all to handle the paving. So we pass that over to you. Now, if it's a DOT project or something like that, we've got to bring it up to DOT spec and the like. And we when we have a project, we absorb all those costs related to the paving activities. So we try to minimize it because, as you all know, paving costs are pretty high.
Correct. And what would be CPW's response? Because this is one of the things that I'm looking at, and kind of getting off topic, but that I want to push is that we don't normally do this, but I would like to put it in an ordinance form based on the size of the cut, that there would be more than just, say, a trench repair, that it would be an entire lane or entire width of the road. You mentioned other municipalities around other service areas. They require repairs to roads more differently than what we do, and this gets into road paving and the cost that it creates for our citizens, because as you know, you cut a road, it's never the same again. But what is CPW's stance on that?
Well, I think, I'll probably defer to Andy and Steve and whoever handles y'all's paving. We're doing we're passing it over to y'all, and if you have specs, I think your specs I think a lot of them are mirror what the DOT does in terms of requirements for it. So if those became.
What is CPW's stance on it?
In terms of paving?
Yes.
Well, we try to get in and get the road back to whatever the requirements are for, if it's Spartanburg DOT, whether it's Greenville, those two are different. Whether it's city, that's different. The requirements are somewhat similar, but different in all cases. And we find sometimes even between different engineers inside those counties, it's different, so. In terms of the requirement. So, yeah, we don't want to go and put something in and have to go back and put more dollars into it to you know, if it's not done correctly or if it settles or anything like that. I mean, the goal is to get it done right the first time and minimize the cost on the customer, so. I mean, I think if an ordinance, you know, if you all enacted an ordinance and that we're changing the way that roads are done, then, you know, of course, we would adhere to whatever those requirements are along with everybody else that's cutting.
Others?
Did the commission vote with unanimous consent to move forward with these
Yes.
bonds?
Correct. Yep.
Now, in 2024, I believe it was, we had a similar discussion concerning bonds for CPW. How did those translate? You know, how did those projects end up going?
So those are gas-related projects, and those are underway, and that's where those.
So this time is, I guess, it's catered towards sewer and water?
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
There's a small electrical that's a carryover of it's at the water plant. It's to provide some redundancy, but it also has an opportunity to provide some electrical cost savings in the future, so.
I do have one question about what we're doing, and this would be on our side. And I'm glad you brought that up about the gas projects. A lot of that, I'm assuming, was up 290 going towards 25. Is that part of those projects?
No, that was Piedmont.
That was Piedmont?
Correct, yeah.
So all the work that you're looking to do with these dollars is contained within the boundaries of the city?
What we're doing with these dollars is contained, I would say for the most part, yeah. I mean, you know, we go down a road and the city limits may not be on, it may jump around on the road, for example, you know.
But, so we're backing up the debt. We're basically saying if something went haywire, they default on it, it becomes the city residents' issue. How does that work with when these assets that they put in the ground or they're not in the city limits? Does that affect?
So first off, that's the debt is not y'all's debt. That first main paragraph in there, and actually it's listed in your ordinance, I mean in your audit on page 35, it says that this debt is not at all related to the city and the taxes can't be used to repay the debt.
You didn't get that text?
What text?
One of your commissioners texted me to that effect yesterday, so that I wouldn't be surprised. I knew it. And that's my question is, if the city has no real influence, no control over fees, bonds, rates, any of that, why aren't we even doing this?
I think it all stems from old bank qualified loans, bank qualified debt that's uniform across.
I think that the administrator can shed some light on this. This is basically a ministerial action. I think to your point, the original idea was that if the whole system collapsed at one point in time, as the way the two organizations were created, or the city was created and then the other came about, that the city becomes the ultimate guarantor of that. But as to their borrowing and their revenue and that sort of thing, this is just a formality for us, is it not? I mean,
Mr. Mayor, that's absolutely correct. This is a ministerial function of this council. Mr. Greer is right also that this kind of harkens back to those bank qualified loans that I think somewhere around 2017 became a non-issue. I think the federal government rectified that. I think some of this debate harkens back a number of years to the taxpayers having to, in a nuclear meltdown scenario, having to bear the burden of the cost of the bonds, but also there was the debate about whether or not their borrowing impacted our debt capacity. Those are mutually exclusive issues. So in this particular case, Mr. Bettis, to answer your question, this is Mr. Greer filling out his role as the general manager for the Greer Commission for Public Works, seeking this council's approval of something that we are legally qualified or obligated to approve.
So what?
We cannot withhold approval unreasonably.
But if we vote no, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, well, I imagine it does put us in a different strata of legal questions because I or the mayor still have to sign off on the bond itself because the law requires that, but the law also precludes our,
But we had no input, we had no information at all. We're voting on something that unless you're a lawyer, you know nothing about.
Mr. Bettis, I would agree with that. This is a legislative issue that is above this council's pay grade as far as.
But you, okay, go back to something you said that you, and I know that you and the mayor have to sign off on it. So you're signing off on it saying, yeah, we stand behind this, is that?
We stand behind, as far as I'm concerned, Mr. Airwood, my signature, the mayor's signature is ministerial in function. It just, it's ministerial, it's effectively notarizing it.
Until a creditor comes back trying to collect dollars.
If that creditor came back to try and collect dollars from the city of Greer, they're pumping a dry well because we are not obligated to that debt in any way, shape, or form. It is rate debts predicated on their revenues by their ratepayers. Now, Mr. Airwood, yes, you're absolutely correct. Most of their ratepayers, or at least a bulk of them, are city residents, but those are still, their tax dollars will not be leveraged to cover that debt.
Okay, so then why? I mean, I'm not, I just want to know why.
I think
I tell you, it does seem like that by doing this, we are giving, it's kind of like a, because CPW or any other service like that does not have the ability to raise taxes. It's like if we don't pass the budget, the state comes in and says, we'll pass it for you, and the way we're going to fund it is we're going to raise your taxes. If you have a default on bonds or bond payments, then they don't have that ability to say, we are going to raise your taxes to pay for this. So I mean, if it's a non-issue, I don't know why we are making it an issue, and why don't we just stop this? Because it actually, to me, it actually puts risk on our citizens if we don't have to have it, because, you know, I mean, that you can say that they're pumping it or going at a dry well, but there would be a lot of cost that would be borne by our citizens if something like that were to happen.
Yes, sir. Now, if and please jump in, but in a nuclear meltdown situation where they're unable to cover their debt, yes, the citizens, the people that live in the city of Greer and their customers will have financial problems, but it'll be predicated specifically on the utilities that they pay. It will have nothing to do with our ability to deliver police, fire, parks and recreation, planning and development, et cetera. Their tax dollars are not impacted at all.
It's unrelated, but at the end of the day, the reason why we're doing this is to allow for future growth and keep up with the growth that we've been seeing in the city, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's a combination of things. I mean, we're 25 years ago, we did a major update at the wastewater plant, and we have burned through a lot of that capacity over the last 25 years, and we're preparing for the next round of that. And getting out in front of some of this stuff earlier is of course, as you mentioned on the last thing, it gets more expensive when you go out and rebid it. And, we've seen since 2020, 40 to 70% increases in all of these activities. Some of that's paving, some of it's piping. I mean, it's so the earlier we can get to some of this stuff and get out in front of it, and that's what we're working on with a lot of these projects, is trying to get out and get ahead of some of these things as in preparation for that future growth. So,
Yeah.
What kind of capacity? I'm sorry, go ahead.
I don't see why we'd push back if, we continue to annex land and approve
Yeah,
traditional neighborhoods and
it goes
stuff. I
hand
mean,
in hand.
they have to increase their infrastructure. I mean, or.
Nobody's arguing. I'm not arguing that. I'm just
Oh,
wondering
then I don't know what we're
why.
talking about then.
No, I'm talking about, it's always been, I guess until 2017, that we were behind, we were backing the debt. We were saying, yeah, if something happens, we're here for it. And
And now they're saying,
Well, yeah, that not that we were backing the debt, but that there was a conflict between our debt capacity and theirs. And I think that was what a bulk of the concern was up to that 2017-ish timeframe, is that it was a debt capacity concern. We were competing for debt capacity. And I think all of that, and I know,
now, I never was under the impression that we were competing for debt capacity.
I think that was some of the concern in the years leading up to that. But the fact of the matter is under Section 7 of the ordinance that y'all are considering tonight, it clearly states that their debt is not our debt. And Mr. Bettis, you make an excellent point. Mr. Airwood, you make an excellent point. Then what are we doing here? What is this? And the only thing I can say is it's a vestigial legal requirement that may be like spitting on sidewalks. Why does it matter anymore? And I think in this particular case, it may not matter, but it's a legal requirement, and CPW is here fulfilling that legal requirement, and this council's obligated.
Requirement by who?
The state legislature.
All right, look, I mean, we're beating this to death, and if we're gonna grow, we got no choice. I mean, we need to move on. I will recommend this. Charles and I had a tour. Mark gave us a tour. It was very enlightening. Learned a ton of stuff. I would encourage, hit Mark up. I'm sure they can work out something.
What is the capacity of our reservoirs now, as far as dealing with new growth and providing water?
In terms of, you want it in terms of annual capacity?
No. What?
There's 800 acres in that lake.
Yes,
right?
so how many?
Years.
Yes.
Years.
Like years, how long?
Many years. I mean, I think I've seen studies as long as 50 years.
And so in your long-term plans, are you guys looking at building another reservoir?
No, I think, there's, if you look at the amount of land that's there and the availability, we've got feet that we can raise those lakes. So if there were opportunities or challenges in the future, we could potentially look to raise those lakes. So you got, 12 feet, probably you could bring, 10 to 12 feet, you could bring up Robinson. And you've got, somewhat similar to that in Cunningham.
So logistically, we'd be able to service south of 85 as that continues to grow from that increased capacity that you're talking about.
Are you talking water or are you talking about?
Water.
Yeah, so water, is an interesting one because the city has expanded so far out of its original kind of footprint that it's into the Blue Ridge rural water. So you've got Blue Ridge rural water in the north side serving a lot of your customers, a lot of your residents. And we are selling them that water, but some of the residents up there are getting that directly. So we run into that. But we're serving that area. Now, south of 85, we're bound. You run into SJWD and you run into Greenville water and the like as you get further west. But yeah, I mean, there's plenty of drinking water capacity. And, years ago, they expanded the water filter plant, and there's plenty of treatment capacity there. They bought that treatment very, very inexpensively. It's to build a plant of that size now would be, hundreds of millions of dollars. And so there is a lot of drinking. We run about 50% of that plant's capacity right now on average, maybe a little bit less. So there's plenty of raw water capacity in the reservoirs and plenty of treatment capacity at the plant. Wastewater is a different story. We've got capacity at the wastewater plant, but we're beginning to get to a point in the way the state looks at it is when you get to 80%, you've got to have a plan to go beyond 100%, and when you get to 90%, you got to be under construction. So those are kind of thresholds that we don't want to get to. We want to kind of be out in front of those, and you don't want to be under the gun having to try to get a project done in a time frame or have to turn people away and say we just simply can't get to the capacity in time to bring your project online and the like. And right now, just to give you an idea, wastewater plants are running about $30 to $50 a gallon. So to recreate what we have out there is anywhere between $250 million and almost $400 million. So, I mean, these are significant dollars. And so by being able to kind of rehab and rebuild and attach on, as you guys saw when you went out there, adding these pieces on will, is a much less cost than having to build new, down at a later time. So costs are just, that used to be $1 a gallon just 10, 15 years ago. And that's an amazing increases.
So Mr. Regier, this raises kind of an interesting philosophical question. South of 85 is a stretch in some regards, and one of the things that we have a little bit of angst about is the fact that the way our annexation laws are, that we've got areas that are completely surrounded by the city and some areas that are in the county and in the city, and it creates, I would say, difficulties in providing service. With your current line of thought that you explained earlier, and particularly now hearing what the cost of new facilities would be, do you think it's the commission's thought process that it might be easier and less expensive to let other providers provide sewer and electric and water south of 85?
I think it's going to be less expensive for them. I mean, just look at what we've got inside the city today. On the other side of Gibbs Shoals Road, those folks that are being treated by REWA, it's 100% higher. So I think our commission is, was created by the same folks that elected y'all 110 years ago to fulfill a mission of competing and providing a safer, more reliable, more cost-effective service. So I think our mission stays the same. We still want to try to get down there and provide that service. Now, again, that may come at some cost to those folks coming in on the front end, but on the back end, the customers that we have and the residents that come in the city, the hope would be that they'd be able to continue enjoying low rates. So.
The city's growth and the city's existence, in my estimation, since I've been a councilman, has depended a lot on growth. That we've been able to keep levels fairly consistently low, and if without that growth, it would have been a much different story. Is the same true of CPW? Does your future depend on growth, or can you just say, okay, that's as far as we're going?
No, I mean, we just, get into some numbers here, and, we're anticipating spending about $42 or $43 million this year on capital. That's fairly consistent year over year. You get 10 years out and we're about $250 million in the last 10 years in capital spend. A lot of that has been related to growth type activities. So to your point, if the growth stopped completely, I don't know that it would be a terrible thing from a financial perspective. But I think, the goal isn't to get to a certain size and then say, that's it. That's not, it certainly, I think, would be, there would be a lot less capital spend if you weren't growing. But we're prepared for growth. We've got capacity. We've built new substations. We're, queuing up a whole bunch more industries. So I mean, our plan is to continue to expand as we have been. And, you know, you talk about hard and fast rules. I mean, one of the things that, you know, I've been amazed with in my 9 years up here is that the commission has said, absolutely, if you want sewer, you're coming in the city, no questions asked. And I mean, I can tell you, we get calls regularly. But just this one time, let us go in and we don't want to annex, we want, you know, and they have said absolutely under no circumstances can you come in, can you get that sewer without coming into the city. So, you know, I think they're, you know, prepared to help continue growing. I think we've got the capacity. The hope is to do some of these kinds of things and continue making sure we have ample room to grow as the needs continue to come towards us.
Well, since the mayor waxed philosophical, I'll ask you one more and then I'll leave you alone. It's an issue that's bothered me for a long time. Has there been any discussion with you and the commissioners at all about expanding the number of people on that commission to possibly allow some people of color or women to enter it?
I don't know that I mean, that's certainly up to the I don't know that.
I can answer that.
Yeah, I mean,
By state law, it's limited to 3.
correct, it is. But I mean, the voters can, I
We
mean,
can't.
those are 3 elected
It would be
at
something
large.
changed by ballot, probably.
It's
state law.
It's state law. It's written in there, yeah.
They change those all the time.
They do change those all the time.
Yeah, sometimes not always.
So I don't, you know, I don't know that there's an opinion of, you know, hey, let's do this or not do this, but we're operating inside the bounds of what's there today. And, you know, every 2 years, one of the commissioners is up for election. And I think that the consistency that you've seen, and, you know, Mr. Gibson was up here a couple of months ago for, you know, 40 plus years. I think that's a byproduct of the residents and the ratepayers saying, we appreciate what you're doing and we want you to keep doing it. And I think, you know, if you look back at the time that these folks have been here, Mr. Howell, who's our current chairman, is here, and he's going into his 28th year, I think. So, I mean, I think, you know, if the residents would like someone different, you know, every 2 years, I think they have an opportunity to do something different. But I think that right now, I think everybody's pretty happy that our electric rates right now are 39% below the national average.
So in that same vein, do you anticipate that there's going to be any rate increases with this funding?
Related to the borrowing? No, I think on the contrary, you know, you can cash fund these things or you can bond fund them. You bond fund them. This is a short term. It's an 18-year note that we're doing, but we're giving an opportunity for folks that are coming in to help pay some of that during the upcoming years, as opposed to saying to the folks today, hey, we need this kind of cash up front to continue doing these activities. So.
Okay, we have.
One final question.
Yeah, I'm going to I think we've covered a lot of ground and not all of it necessarily to this discussion. Last call on questions.
Well, you've mentioned rates several times, which is great, and you know, of course, I'm a customer, and everybody likes to pay less, of course. Well, actually, 2 questions. And I think I know the answer to this. We have a utility pole at my house on the corner lot that's been changed out, and it's been sitting there leaning over for a long time. Still has, I guess it's cable or phone. Y'all have any ability to rush that matter up to get it going? Because we have,
What was you knew the answer to that one? What was your thought on the answer to that one? I had the same conversation with the mayor last week.
I'll just use as what I tell council is we have a forest of abandoned utility poles within our city. And then when you just start looking outside the city, it just gets bigger and bigger. Is that a state regulation as far as it gives open-ended time for everybody else that's attached onto that?
I don't know that there's a state regulation around it, and I think that's probably part of the challenge. And what we hear from the telco providers is basically that they have a set amount for this area of dollars available, and they'll get to as many poles as they can, and when they're done with that amount of dollars, they'll try next year.
I can tell you how to solve that. Saw that pole down and let it lay on the ground, they'll come fix it. The other question is the rates. Did y'all just have a small rate increase not long ago?
We made some changes to the facilities charges on the water and the wastewater side.
Because I knew one of your commissioners gave us grief about millage and then turned right around and voted to raise rates, so.
We'll,
Okay.
last question. Anything else?
So, Andy, on documents like this, is our legal counsel involved, or do they put it all together and then just give it to us, or has Daniel reviewed something like this?
In effect, it is on CPW to verify the veracity of all the information, both between their bond counsel and their financial advisor. Like I said, this is ministerial in function, and we are here to sign.
Ms. Duncan?
Mr. Arrowood,
No.
Mr. Booker,
No.
Mr. Hopper,
Yes.
Mr. Lander,
Yes.
Mr. Bettis,
No.
Mr. Lamb,
Yes.
Mayor Danner.
Yes. Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it.
Council, in executive session this evening, we have no matters to discuss. Stand adjourned.